Greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking. I am Del Barzi. As always, if you like what you see and hear, subscribe, leave us a comment, and let us know what you think. Here on Nurses Talking, we speak to nurses anywhere in the world and at any stage in their nursing journey. Today, I am very, very pleased to speak to Gadima Love out of Nigeria. Gadima is a registered nurse. She's a digital marketing strategist. She's an author, certified Google Eye specialist. She says she's a foreign trained nurse. Does that mean you were trained outside of Nigeria?
Yes, I was.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Digital, and you have achieved significant success in healthcare. And she says she has increased digital product sales by over 200% in 18 months. That's some achievement. And you've authored a book called Nurses to Wealth 101 Business Ideas for Nurses to earn money beyond the bedside. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome, Gadima.
Anytime I'm invited to speak, it's really a great privilege, to be honest. So thank you so much for the warm welcome.
The pleasure is all mine. Trust me, the pleasure is mine. But Gadima, what made you become a nurse?
Okay. So first of all, what made me to go into nursing? It started from childhood, right? Actually down here in Nigeria, most times while growing up, you find our parents, kind of choosing the professions for us. And most parents at the time while growing up would either want their children to go into medicine, to become medical doctors, or lawyers. That was actually the two main professions that most parents would want. But then at the time while growing up, I really just disliked seeing my parents and siblings and loved ones actually falling ill. So there is this compassion within me that if only I could, if only I had the skills, the expertise to be able to help, my parents, my siblings recover so quickly without even getting them to the health facility. So that interest in helping lives recover, okay, without having them go through so much pain and discomfort. It all started while growing up. And then also, the interest developed when I would see, individuals, for example, individuals are scheduled for surgeries, and then they would need to actually make sure that they have made payments, all right, before they have been accepted to undergo surgeries. So I always felt like, why if life should come before even seeking for money? I feel like people
Yeah.
should actually pick to take care of lives first. Why isn't healthcare made free? So it was really a question I wanted to find answers to. So I was like, why isn't hospital, healthcare settings just free to save lives before you even think about the money? So that was actually what, developed that interest to pursue nursing. It all started from childhood, and since then, it's something that I actually was opportune and privileged, and I've, studied and gotten my bachelor's in nursing already. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So seeing as it's something that you wanted since childhood,
Yes.
when you actually became a nurse and got into healthcare, into nursing school and became a nurse, was it what you thought it was going to be?
Okay. Well, when I got into nursing, I what I thought it was going to be was what I saw, right? Just that the perception, especially from here in Africa, about nurses and then the way nurses were perceived was kind of a bit frustrating. Well, I say overwhelming, right? Because I felt nurses were being underestimated, were being undervalued, especially down here in Africa and Nigeria, to be precise. So we were always like, even during my educational phase, we studied alongside medical students. So there is always like almost the stigma, this separation that, okay, these are the medical doctors and these are the nurses. So, and it felt like we were being looked down on at the time. So the whole profession is great. I've always seen nursing as a noble profession, but then just the perception, especially, from the public, and from people about who nurses are. I feel like people still don't even know who nurses are and what, our capabilities and our value, what we have to offer. So that underestimation, that undervalue was just something that until today, it's still going on. That stigma is there, that undervalue is still there. So it's something I just, I feel like the public should be made to have that awareness that nurses have the capabilities within them to actually even impact lives. Right? Without the nurses, I don't think the healthcare setting will be complete. It's never going to be complete. So we all have our roles to play. So without the doctors, without the nurses, without the pharmacists, the healthcare is never going to be complete. So people need to be sensitized that nurses have their own roles to play. And so we shouldn't be undervalued, we shouldn't be underestimated. So that was something that just really, really got me, worried in terms of what I didn't expect
Yes.
in the nursing field. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I have to tell you that perception is not just in Nigeria. Believe me when I tell you that. And you just articulated one of the goals of this channel. You said it quite clearly that people, the general public, really have no idea who we are as nurses, and that is so true. And that's one of the things I want to, I interview nurses from all over the world because I want people to see that nurses, A, so we're here, we're everywhere. And not only are we everywhere, we have the capacity to be everywhere. We have the capacity to do anything we want to. Nurses are in so many different areas. So
Exactly.
what is your current specialty though?
Okay. So, like I said, that when we're doing the introductory phase, you asked if I was a foreign trained nurse, and I said yes. So it
Yes.
happens that when I graduated as a foreign trained nurse from Islamic University in Uganda, that was in 2022, November to be precise. So I happen to be among the pioneer students of our school. And before we are accredited with a license to begin practice, we have to go through a transitioning phase from a foreign trained nurse to a registered nurse here in Nigeria. So that is actually the phase that I am in right now. It actually took quite a while, almost 2 years now, in the transitioning phase from being a foreign trained nurse to a registered nurse here in Nigeria. And the reason for this, the prolonged phase, is because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm among the pioneer nursing students of my university, that's Islamic University in Uganda. So the Nursing Council here in Nigeria had to make sure that my university was accredited before it was gotten into the registration portal over here. So
Mm-hmm.
that is currently my role right now at the moment is me transitioning from a foreign trained nurse to a registered nurse in Nigeria. So I could acquire my license for legal practice in Nigeria.
Understood, understood, understood. And you describe yourself though as a digital nurse. And you say
Yes,
that
I do.
you have, you're an expert, you're licensed as where is it? I see that you say, oh yes, digital nurse and virtual leadership.
Yes, ma'am.
So I realize that you belong to the quote unquote technological slash digital slash generation. So how do you see, although you're not practicing in Nigeria, but you've already become a registered nurse in Uganda, how do you see with your interest in technology affecting the way we practice nursing or the nursing care is delivered? How would you see it? How would you even like to see it?
Definitely. Currently, even on LinkedIn, I think it's something I create content about, where I'm creating the awareness that nurses should actually embrace the digitalization that is ongoing, because we are in the digital age and technology has just found its way into health, right? So instead of running away from it, we should actually embrace the impact that technology can actually help, with effective patient care and helping work efficiency, reducing costs, and a whole lot. So at the moment, I've actually even gotten certifications into digital nursing. I've undergone trainings to acquaint myself with, you know, technology, the technological aspect, and also tech aspects. Currently, at the moment, I'm also undergoing a training in data analysis because I want to, equip myself with the knowledge and the skill set that this digital age we're supposed to have. And I believe that nurses, right, it can be overwhelming, especially trying to adapt, but that is who we are. As nurses, we have that skills, right, to be able to adapt easily. So it can be overwhelming, but we need to adapt with this digital age. We need to embrace technology. And I believe there is so much more that we can achieve because even in a healthcare setting already, we are using technology, right? So let's say, for example, the radiology aspect where patients have to go through scanning sessions. So we're using machines there at the process. And if nurses can't understand how these machines work, how to actually understand the interpretations from diagnosis made, prognosis made, because at the end of the day, we're the ones who are dealing with the patient directly at the end of the day. First contact, even the last contact, it's the nurses. So we really need to understand and embrace technology. There is always a beginning stage, regardless. We can start from somewhere. And I'm very sure, like, even in the future, 5 years, 10 years from now, the future of medicine and healthcare is going to be digital. So we really need to embrace, the aspect of technology and what digitalization at the end of the day, just equipping ourselves with the basic skills, and then continuous learning and self-development will really help nurses so that we are not left behind, and we future-proof our careers and we don't become irrelevant to our societies. Yes, ma'am.
I see. All right. So what advice then would you give to somebody who wants to be a nurse? What would you tell them?
Okay. So if someone tells me today they want to become a nurse, I would ask the person, what's your big why? Like, what purpose would you attach, right, to that ambition? Okay, what's your biggest motivation? What's your big why? Why? You have to answer that question. Why do I want to do what I want to do? I always answer that question to whatever goal I set for myself. Reasons because we challenges is part of life. I feel like life is not complete if there are no challenges. So challenges will always come. And there is no career path that is completely easy. Whatever career path someone chooses to take today, there are definitely going to be challenges, right? Even the underestimation and the way nurses have been undervalued, that is one challenge on its own. So you need to ask yourself, if someone chooses that part to go into nursing today, I will tell the person, what's your big why? Why do you want to go into this career path? Because challenges will come and you need to equip yourself that when these challenges come, challenges like burnout, okay, and being at the front line, sacrificing your time, and sometimes you're sacrificing your sleep, you're sacrificing your time, you're actually being empathetic, putting yourself there before others, okay, serving humanity. So what's your big why? Because when these challenges come, you need to have a big why to stand strong. If not, the thought of giving up will definitely come, right? The thought of giving up always come. But if you have a strong why, if you have a strong reason to why you want to go into that field, you're going to stand strong. That amidst the challenges, even if you cry on some days, you're going to clean up your tears and get help and go back in to help lives, to save lives, to see that someone smiles. Even if you can't restore life, at least you can improve the quality of living at the end of the day.
You said even if you cry, there is no if about it. You will. You will.
Yeah.
So if you had to describe to me what you see then as the most essential quality of a nurse, what in one word, what would that word be?
Okay, if I have to describe what's the most essential quality, nurses have different qualities, but I would just put it all together in this one word, selflessness. I don't know if people use this word more often, but I would describe nurses as being selfless people, putting yourself out there in the front line, putting yourself, sacrificing, because you're sacrificing your time. Let's say, for example, night duties, night shifts, you're supposed to be on your bed sleeping, you're supposed to be together with your family, your loved ones. But here you are trying to ensure that a life gets saved at the end of the day. So it's you being selfless, right? Serving humanity. Because at the same time, I do tell people that nursing is not just a profession, it's actually serving humanity. You know, being able to cater for humans, because we can have stubborn patients, rude patients, patients who are not even understanding, but at the same time you put that aside to make sure that someone gets quality care. You're advocating for patients. I've seen, of course, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen nurses and other healthcare personnel lose their lives at the end of the day because of fighting for the sake of patients. So nurses are actually selfless, right? That is the word I would use to describe nurses, because the empathy, the advocacy we put, the serving of humanity at the end of the day, it's we being selfless. The sacrifices we make, the care, the compassion at the end of the day is we being selfless. So that is the word I will use to describe the nursing profession.
Okay. All right. Exactly. That's cool. That's cool. So you are into publishing. And not only are you into
Yes,
publishing, you're into helping others be others into publishing. So what piqued your
yes.
interest?
Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, I found myself in the waiting period where I had to transition from a foreign trained nurse into a registered nurse in Nigeria. So at the very beginning, I felt like it was a setback, right? Because I just wanted to advance my career immediately when I'm done with school. Let me begin practice. Okay. But then I had to make sure that I passed through this phase. So at some point, I felt like it was a setback. I felt like it was a delay. But then I didn't feel sorry for myself, of course. While I was going through the waiting period, I decided to make sure that I use the most of the time, which is equipping myself, making sure that I'm exposing myself to helpful path. And that was when I picked up publishing. So I actually went into entrepreneurship. I never saw myself in the very beginning going into entrepreneurship, but here I am. And so far, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's definitely worth it. So I picked up interest in publishing because it's something that I found passion for. I've always been a book lover. I love to read. I find myself writing. Like, you always
Yeah.
find stacks of books around me. So, and when I came across publishing, it was not something I found complicated. I quickly fell in love with it. And knowing fully well that it's not just about the monetary benefits that comes from it, but then the ability to impact lives positively. Like, you can imagine
Again.
people from the US, the UK are reading my books, all right? Amazon serves as a platform where I can put out my books, and people across the world get to buy my books, right? And read and, help solve their problems. It could be in terms of self-help, it could be in terms of self-care, and like me passing across information that can help someone. So every time I come across my dashboard and I see that people from the UK, Germany, Australia are purchasing my books, it's that fulfillment that comes along with it, knowing fully well that I'm impacting lives beyond the bedside. I might not be in the hospital right now, right? But then people, I'm actually leaving a legacy, because at the end of the day, even when I'm no more here, right, someone out there will be able to say something I've written via the form of books has actually helped them solve a problem. And that
Yeah.
alone gives me fulfillment. Yes.
Yep. Yep. There you are being a nurse again in a different way.
Yes.
Gadima, what do you do
Yes, ma'am.
as a as a nurse, the tendency is for us to put everyone else ahead of ourselves. What do you do for
Yes.
self-care?
Okay. So what I do for self-care personally, prioritizing myself, I believe that if you're not fully charged, there is no way you can be able to pour out from the knowledge or from the experience or from whatever you have. So if you're not full yourself, if you want to pour out onto someone, you're definitely going to get overwhelmed. You're definitely going to probably get frustrated and drained. So for self-care, I feel like it doesn't have to be so. You don't have to spend so much money before you achieve self-care. It can just be the little things you do, just making sure you're having adequate rest, sleeping enough, right? Even though, of course, nothing can be demanding in terms of the education, in terms of clinical practice, it can be demanding, but try to ensure that you have at least adequate rest. So you can split that time. Okay, it can be in the afternoon, making sure at least you have some nap, and then you also sleep during the night. So for self-care, mostly I love to practice yoga. It's something I actually incorporated into my daily activities during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I love to actually incorporate yoga because it helps me relax a whole lot, especially relaxing. So and incorporating exercises, it doesn't have to, you don't really have to go to the gym, but even from home you can do home workouts, right? Stretching exercises, or for me, yoga, meditation, even writing, journaling itself can be, self-care. And then
Yeah.
eating healthy itself can be self-care, and then spending time with family, loved ones. And I also call it the digital detox, okay, where you just turn off the screen sometimes and you just relax, be embracing nature. You can just go out for a walk. You can just go out for a walk. You can just at least try to sit yourself down and take in fresh air, the air that comes in. Really, self-care doesn't have to be so complicated. Just the little things that we can just incorporate in our daily activities can really help with self-care. Yes.
Yep, yep. And I ask it because we really need to pay attention. And as you said, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It just has to be something that rejuvenates you.
Yes, it is.
So, Kadima, thank you so very much for this conversation. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. But before we go, is there any last word you'd like to leave us with?
Okay, my last words that I would like to leave anyone who is watching this, and to everyone who is watching this, is that you should have a main purpose. Like, if you've not yet discovered, what path you want to take in life. For myself, I still feel like, yes, I still have things I'm still learning at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, finding out and discovering your unique path. Okay, it doesn't have to be so complicated. It just has to be something that makes you different. All right. Among the crowd, yes, we have nurses. We have nurses. And you're not going to be the first nurse. You're not going to be the last nurse, because others ahead of you are nurses, and others coming even after you, we're also going to have nurses. So you should have something that makes you different, that makes you unique, because I believe everyone was born with a gift, was born with a unique side. So, and you should actually have that unique side to offer to your world at the end of the day. One thing that has helped me put myself out there is because I believe that there was something I was born with, there's something I have to offer to the world, and it can be of impact at the end of the day. Another thing is, I don't want to leave this world without at least, someone saying out there that, Gadima love has actually helped me out in one way or the other. So I don't want to leave this world, without touching lives, just empty, without, impacting lives, even in the little way. And another thing is being kind, really. Because I feel like people do go through a lot. Okay, they might not open up. It could be in terms of their mental health, it could be physical, it could be financially, anyway, but try, at least I always live with this mantra that try to be kind to at least one person a day. Just put a smile to someone's face, at least, even if it's just one person a day. Okay, because it's not just about us. Okay, there is this fulfillment that comes when someone says thank you. You've actually made my day. You've actually made me smile today. I wasn't happy, but you've made me feel happy. So there's this fulfillment that comes when we are helping lives, at least on a daily basis. And that's why I actually love nursing, because nursing gives you that opportunity to interact with people on a daily basis. And so there's so much opportunity for you to impact lives in numerous ways, in the littlest ways possible. And never forget, like I said, challenges will always come. But challenges are not meant to break us, but they're meant to shape us. They're meant to build us up to become better versions of ourselves. Yes.
So very well said. So very well said. And on that note, Gadima, thank you so very much for taking the time to have this conversation
Thank
with
you.
me. I truly appreciate it.
It's my pleasure as well. It was a great opportunity and I really appreciate
All righty, thank you.